Folks, hello and welcome to Gamer's Health. My nose is itching. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, as always,
It's Sadie.
on Saturday nights is Rachel. And we have our Sadie cat just to the side here.
Sadie!
You made an appearance, young lady. So, I'm sure she'll do her best to get in the way.
Yeah.
Cat-like. If you hear really horrible karaoke going on in the background,
Spring has sprung and our neighbors are out.
yeah, they've awoken from their hibernation and
enjoying the evening. Oh no! I hate it when they can't do the microphone right.
Yeah, it's like we
you
suck.
guys should know better. You've been doing this for how many years?
I know. Oh my god. RPG Grandma, welcome. And by the way, thank you for sharing my videos in the new Arduin, Bloody Arduin community. I do appreciate it. I have reasons for not sharing it there myself because I don't want to cause any undue strife in the community with a member or two who may, there goes the cat, who may decide that it's a good opportunity to get some shots in. Don't need the drama, and especially in a new community that's pushing a game that I really enjoy and I'm looking forward to.
And you want to support the community.
I want to support the community. I don't want to be a distraction. Mm-hmm. So I thank you for sharing my videos, sharing Shadow's videos, finding a video from Uncle Matt from like 5 or 6 years ago. God bless you. I saw that. I was like, holy crap. Greetings, Ryan, Tom, the Oak of Antioch. You're a princess, Rachel.
I like to think so.
Tammy, welcome.
Tammy.
Yeah, no, I RPG Grandma, I don't understand it, but the idea of live and let live. Some people, I rent space in some people's heads. Let's put it to you that way. If I had to pay for the space I rent, I'd be broke. But I get it for free, and I'd rather not. I feel like a squatter, and squatting is a huge issue these days. I don't want to be a squatter, unless it's for a squatty potty. But that's a whole another bottle of wax.
Yeah, that's probably another thing to talk about on Gamers Health. Its own episode and for why it's good.
The squatty potty.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people swear by that.
Yeah. So actually, I think Rach has the most timely medical update, and then I'll go over my blood sugar and stuff and a few other things. But Rach, you had scans this week.
I did. I had my 6 months follow up for
your surgery.
6 months follow up after surgery to remove the cancer. I had to go in this week for my mammogram and sonogram, just to make sure that there's nothing sus in there at all now. And it was great. They said nothing to worry about. There's nothing, everything benign. No signs of malignancy. So those are good words.
It's an awesome thing.
And what's nice about that place is the NYU Langone. They will tell you your result when you're there. So that this way you don't have to sit and wait or any of that. You just wait for the doctor to say whatever. Because usually it's like you're waiting for the doctor to tell you, oh, we don't need any more pictures, because like they'll hold you there until the doctor's satisfied with whatever he determines. But like sometimes you'll go in and they'll do pictures and then you have to stay aside and wait. Not like the other women who just get to like go straight out,
Yeah.
But so like you kind of wait to make sure that there's not more pictures that they have to, or more films that they have to do.
So that was awesome news
Yes,
this
so
week. This
happy.
week was a week of awesome news. I gotta say, it was
Yeah.
pretty darn good. So, Elk, do I have any boys in blue war stories about New York squatters? New York squatters weren't a big thing when I was a police officer in the late '90s, early aughts, and then
I don't think in that section that you were in.
yeah,
I think more
nobody
so,
was squatting in the South Bronx.
Yeah, more so out like in one of the neighborhoods I worked, they had squatters. Like,
Oh, they did.
Yeah, in not in the Bronx, but in Jamaica. In South,
Okay.
Yeah, and because there was a lot of homes, and they would find their way to like just like commandeer a home or like defraud like older people out of their homes,
Oh,
or
wow, okay.
and then also like the intertwining of addiction
Oh, yeah.
with that, and how easily somebody could be manipulated with that.
So yeah, no, so that's again, my daily patrol days was
Yeah, but
South
Bronx, you never
Bronx
heard of it.
and late. We had abandoned buildings that became crack dens, but they weren't really squatters. They were just,
What, it was
places.
just a shooting gallery
It
or
was a
a
shooting
crack
gallery, or crackheads would
house?
stay there for a couple of days. But I mean, they weren't living there. This wasn't like they weren't like making home there. Then my years as a sergeant on patrol. No, then I was, then I surfed the desk. I got to admit, I did a lot of supervising of detectives. So, Kim, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. I know you're ready. You're here and ready to take notes.
All right.
We'll get you some note taken. Okay.
Oh,
He's
ready to learn.
he's ready to learn. He might be like a law student or something. The Elk, fantastic, Rachel.
Thank
Archie Grandma, they make us wait.
Yeah.
Send us home and wait.
Oh,
When I had
that's
Hodgkins,
uncomfortable.
yeah, when I had Hodgkins, that's what it was with me. You come in, you get your scan done, and then you'd have to wait, and they weren't going to get a call from the imaging. You got a call from your oncologist, who, hey, if they weren't in for another 2 days, you were getting a call in 2 days. So yeah, that was, and I still remember the one. This is during treatment when I was being treated, and the initial evaluation or whatever they do a write up, and it was not positive. It was the initial assessment by the doctor at the imaging place was that things were not progressing as one would have hoped.
Oh,
and then
wow!
and
So they put their clinical
yes,
judgment on
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then a day later, he revised it because he didn't compare it to the prior scan for some fucking reason.
That's crazy.
Yes,
that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. No. So I was like, and I was like, oh. Tammy, can we just take a moment to relish in the goodness of those two pieces of news? No malignancy, and no North Carolina malignancy either. Yes. Oh, God. For some reason, I have no desire to ever visit North Carolina. What? Why? What? It's a shame. It's a beautiful state.
Well, they say it's lovely.
Yes, it is.
And it's got everything.
Apparently. Yes, RPG Grandma.
But too much of one thing.
Tammy, Kim, can your lawyer count past 50? You are in good shape then. Actually, can your lawyer tell the difference between 90 days and 100 days?
Oh my God, he hit the nail on the head with the counting.
Yes. Up to your grandma. What are my results of tests on Friday? I think it's good. We will include you in our prayers, madame.
Definitely.
David, in the UK, we just don't ever get an appointment.
Oh shit.
Hey, I don't have anything to say about that, sadly. I guess I think Canada is like pretty much the same way. I know that from from our aunt. Up to grandma, no extra stuff done by the text. Yeah, that's the whole thing too. When you're being whatever you're getting done. Like when I had my sono done in my third hospitalization of 2020, and the techs are they're doing a sono of my neck, and then they stop and they keep on the same spot.
And that's not crazy when they press and you're like,
Yeah.
shit.
And then
I really have something
and
there.
then they get somebody else, right? It's like, I don't see this. Let me get it somebody. So they call somebody else, and now but they're not telling you shit. And you go, oh man, something was wrong. I had a totally occluded whatchamacallit,
carotid artery.
So body compensated. Go figure. Kim, Tammy, they say someone who represents themselves in court has a fool for a client. With God as my witness, I am that fool. It's okay. Because you're kind of like in a no harm, no foul. Ooh, I gotta take it down. How much is that gonna cost me? Oh, 0 New Zealand dollars? Whatever. Go play with yourself. Kim, though I humbly submit, I am doing a better job than Bernie was.
Go.
Oh my God. On Wednesday I read the order, but it was more like a skim. Like you look for the highlights, and then was it today, Rach? Yes, it was today.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, this morning I looked at it, and I was like, I really read it line by line, paragraph by paragraph, and I was like, oh, Rach, you got to hear this one. Oh, Rach, you got to hear this one. So yeah. I didn't know that New York State has a 1-year statute of limitations on slander and libel.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing.
That's so. Dynasty is a tumor. Yes, Cal.
I did say worse than cancer.
Worse than cancer. I'd rather have ass cancer than dynasty. Yeah, I can see it. Tammy, you are. Oh, I see. Our cat's abusing the dog right now. She's not getting the food that she wanted, so she's going to harass the dog. I hear the dog bark, which means the cat's going. Wah!
Well, she was scratching away over that way.
Oh, okay. Tammy, you are set, Kim, since we know you can count and divide. Tell the truth, have common sense. That's a big one. I actually think that Kim knows U.S. law and U.S. procedure and law, at least civilly, better than some attorneys. I'm not going to name names.
We don't have to.
We don't have to.
Knows.
Everybody knows. David, 7 million people on waiting list, 10% of the population. Well, you know what you could do to shorten that list? Just let people die.
Oh shit!
What?
You sound like you're Canadian or something.
Me, Canadian?
Canadian.
Oh, I thought you said Canadian.
Canadian.
Oh, Canadian.
Like, yeah, they should let people die. Whoever wants to volunteer to die, please sign up.
All right. So Tammy's like, Eric, you were fortunate that you could pay for this. How do people who do not have the ability to pay prevent such ridiculousness? Yes. Well, there's a little prevention.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe maybe the federal courts need to be changed to become more like the state court, like that we have here, so that they can vet the case before it comes in and be able to say, okay, this really has teeth. Now, this judge had to be bothered by having to sort through all this crap.
Yep.
And,
and she had to
take away from other real cases that, need attention,
Here, I'm going to say, if you are a homeowner, look at your health, look at your property insurance, your home insurance. Okay. You can have, usually it's an optional rider, but you can have a liability insurance, a personal liability insurance as part of that. That would include slander and libel. It will give you representation. It will ensure gets a certain amount of damages. My understanding is that when your insurance company represents you, they essentially want to, let's make a deal. It's understandable, right? Same thing with New York City when I was a cop. You get sued for $2 million, and they just want to, let's make a deal. Hey, we'll give you $15,000 to, take a deal, and everybody walks away. $15,000 now, or your lawsuit play out for 7 years, right? That's how it works. So if you have that rider, um, and there was a question as to whether or not we would have been covered under my parents' rider, because we live in an extended household. However,
No one was willing to do, like, none of us were willing to
yeah,
back down.
right. So, and my attorneys actually suggested to check into that. And when we spoke with my parents, they were like, uh, not for nothing. We think you should fight this. We don't think you should make a deal." And when you have the support of your parents, that goes a long way. So, but again, if you have a home, and you can, I think some renters insurance also offers it. I'm doing a little checking into.
Oh,
I want to do a post on this because I think it's important. But I believe some renters
right. Because
insurance.
if you got into this, how, I'm sure many other people
Yeah,
could. I
and
think it's already in the air and been threatened. But
oh yeah, because there are people,
we'll see.
not naming names, but there are people that do this to shut people up,
Mm-hmm.
and many people cannot afford representation, or if they can afford representation, they can only afford a limited amount of representation, which means they can, yes, file a response, but once it, when you get hit with a $17,000 bill of 1 month and 22 fireworks, a $22,000 bill next month, um, it can add up real quickly. So again, check your insurance policy. I was looking into it. I believe even some car insurance policies allow you to add that rider. So is it again? I am a stubborn son of a bitch. I married. Uh, well, you're not a son of a bitch, Rach, but I married a very stubborn woman myself. Okay, you've got to be stubborn. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
believe in your own sense of honor and integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we certainly did. And when we talked to our law firm for the first time, and I sent over the initial cease and desist. They looked it over and went, and it's even before I explained the whole situation. I went, they want to know your sources. I go, yes. About a certain case. I go, a certain lawsuit. I went, yes. So you're essentially a journalist. You're in the media. I go, in my community, yes, yes. I'm like an investigative reporter. Um, I did ask for court costs. They don't know. By the way, Johnny, they don't know. But I'll get back to that.
What
When
was the question?
did I ask for court costs? I'll get back to
Okay.
that. So they flat out told me if I was going to give up my sources, they were not the law firm for me. And if at any point during the litigation I decide to give up my sources, they will respectfully drop me as a client. They were very clear about it. I will die with my I will die with my sources. I will die with that information. So, it's a law firm with integrity, Don. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnny, this is, it was a 10, no secrets here. It was a $10,000 retainer. And to me, that
And
sounds
it
like,
went quick.
that to me sounds like a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
$10,000 retainer. And I asked my attorney, well, how much is this going to cover? For how long should this be good for? And he was honest. He said it probably won't even cover the first month. Because now your total cost for this stuff is in a large part decided as to how long this goes. All right? Because costs are literally exponential, and it would have gotten huge if we had gotten to the point where we were going to go to trial and have jurors and all that stuff. I mean, the deposition itself was between the court reporter and the attorney's time and all that stuff. I think what
6,000.
6,000 or so. So, I mean, I even said, I did ask how much do you think this is going to cost, and they're like, we don't know, but it will be substantial.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. It will be substantial. Do you have the resources? And I was like, oh shit. Our money wasn't invested. You don't want it sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
And also by investing it, you're not tempted to spend it on frivolous stuff, right?
Right.
It's not just sitting there in their account. And I was like, yeah, and yeah, I have it. I have it. So, did we use up all of our funds? No. Did we use up a substantial amount of our funds?
Yes.
Yes. It is. That's part of the issue too, right? Like people know, litigants know, people that do this as a matter of course, as they file, the initial filing for less than $500 plus whatever their initial lawyer fees are, and none out of 10 people, if not more, capitulate, right? Because lawsuits are scary. Now, I've been sued through the job. I've been sued. I've been deposed.
I've never been sued.
But, and I've spoken with lawyers. And it's not pleasant, but I think the biggest secret of all of this to get through it is don't lose sleep over it. Don't lose sleep over it. Don't dwell on it. I didn't go any gray and I didn't lose any hair. Because it was just a process going on in the background. And we had a law firm that I had confidence in.
Right. We trusted them to tell us, what the best steps were.
Yeah. So, Kim, New Zealand is trying to reduce court costs, and experts are still saying that for any matter less than $100K, litigation is just not economically feasible.
Right.
Certainly.
I think, yeah.
And now here's a little tidbit. As the case goes on, it lasted a year and a half from the initial filing. Established precedent starts being set on things that are relevant to our case. In this case, the New York State SLAPP law, which when the case was initially filed, my attorneys were cautiously optimistic about us getting a SLAPP judgment. As the case went further on, precedent was set that SLAPP was not going to apply.
Because we had to have a countersuit in.
Right, which would have nothing to do with SLAPP. You have to do a countersuit.
Oh, I see. That would have just been that.
Yes.
It didn't make
for
SLAPP.
SLAPP was not going to apply because precedent had been set as this case was ongoing that slap from New York State and California was incompatible with federal statute.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot of work with the federal courts.
Now, Elk of Antioch, our shared legal system is ridiculous. We need government paid courts somehow. You know,
Yeah, if the government feels this shit is like valid, then let them pay for all this.
so one of those things, like I said, is if somebody is litigious and likes to threaten lawsuits.
Mm.
In this case, my first threat was back when the trademarks were just announced that somebody had secured the trademarks. And I did a little research and made some comments about it. And I was given a PM to tell me to shut my mouth, or I may be facing, people get sued for less, or something.
Yeah, apparently they do.
So, I have a certain amount of integrity. Okay. And if you've ever met me in person, or you know me from online, you know my personality, I am pretty easygoing, but I don't respond well to threats. Honestly, if you're
threats, demands,
yeah,
things like that.
No. I was never
Not so much.
I was never going to give up my sources, and I did a video on that, and that video was one of the ones that was quoted by the judge in her final order dismissing the case, because it seemed to me even she was questioning, because my title of the video was "I got served a C&D," and it's demanding my confidential information, my confidential sources and conversations on the Wati case. Again, when that, to me, I was like, who sent a cease and desist that requires you to give up information on a totally separate matter? To me, and I talked to attorney friends, and that's another thing, by the way, folks. If you are in this community or any community, you may know a lawyer that's a relative or a friend. You can seek basic advice, but realize they are not acting as an attorney when they give it to you. They are not your attorney at that point. Okay? So they can give advice, they can give guidance. Most of them are going to give you some general ideas and then say, seek counsel. Now, if this had gone any deeper, I did have an attorney who was going to help with a lot of the research if we were going to get to trial, and that can certainly help defray costs. But at that point, I was already.
And our firm was happy to work with anybody.
Yes, that I brought to them. So,
they really wanted to be able to share. If
So Don
would help us.
Yeah, Don. Sadly, defending yourself against an ass sadly costs money and a lot of it. But also, to file a lawsuit and prosecute it costs more. Yeah. And we kind of know the costs as of January for opposing was already at $130K because they submitted that.
Wow.
So
for what?
For what? Well, listen. Okay, I'm gonna theorize, and I have that. I have no proof, but I do believe that the timing of me being served was quite likely because I was hearing that I was going to be contacted by Wizards of the Coast attorneys to be a witness. Now, why am I saying that? Like, how do that? Maybe it's just a coincidence. Well, before they served my mother, we had heard, our attorneys had heard at court, not directly from opposing counsel, that that they were going to serve my wife, Rachel. So there was talk going on at the court because I guess some maybe preliminary paperwork was filed or something, and people talk. So could someone have found out? Certainly. I don't know. It could just be pure coincidence. I will say, and I may have to post this at one point. There was a demand letter, and the demand letter wanted me to pay all court costs for opposing.
Yeah, right.
Wanted me to give up confidential information from about a dozen people.
He still didn't get that. We weren't doing it.
Well, no, this was a demand letter. This was do this and I'll drop the suit. And I
Already in too deep.
I was like, this was actually early on. And then later on, end of last year, there was an attempt at negotiation, initiated by opposing, and basically,
which was also advised by the judge.
right. She and said basically what it was is it would have been an order that would have shut me up, but no longer requesting confidential conversations. I was surprised by that, and I would walk away, and I saw that, and I was in for a penny, in for a pound, right? Isn't that the saying? So I responded. My side responded with, "You pay our court costs, and I'll take a 2-year gag order, essentially. 2 years."
And they didn't want it.
Well, no, because they demanded to know that I was actually paying court costs, that I was paying lawyers.
Yeah.
So someone,
I don't know where the hell else the money gonna come from.
Yes, someone thought that Watsi was paying my lawyers. Rach and I, paid.
They don't know me from a can of paint.
Yeah, Watsi doesn't know Rach, and listen, Watsi doesn't know me. Me going from potential witness to, oh yeah, spend 6 figures defending him, never came up. Never came up. The civil system only works for, I hate to say it, the very wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tammy, easier said than done. How much, with so much swirling around and sock puppets chiming in constantly? How did you not let her take up space? I'll get to that. I just want to catch up on the comments because I'm a little bit behind. I know you didn't just want you to share your mindset. Polar nights. I wish my dad was as cool as yours. So you're lucky, miss. At Torque, at this point, we need to bring back trial by combat. That's fine by me. RPG Grandma, I absolutely respond wrong to threats. All it does is activate my fight switch.
Yes.
And I'm learning something about myself. You can threaten me, I will be very calm. You threaten my family, I will lose my calm. I need to adjust that. And I can be calm with threats against me because that's how I was for 20 years as a cop. You have to be. If you get emotional in response to it, when it's a threat against yourself, you don't respond to it very well. And you're no longer in control. I am not a control freak, but I like to be in control in these situations. Kim, one part I'm going to be interested in is if he tries to demand info Watsi from me. If he does, it'll be funny because there's no discovery available in these particular proceedings.
Good.
With Tara Gaines, 130K flushed down the toilet, all for morons, ego, and hubris.
Yes. Basically.
Jen. Phantom Jen. Hat tip you two. Class act. I'm so sorry you had to deal with all this.
Thank you.
RPG Grandma, yeah, it's using the legal system to harass people.
Yeah, yes. That's exactly what that was.
Tom, it was delusional.
That too.
Someone has been smoking some really good stuff to even think you would agree. Again, Tom. Now, um, again, if you let this dwell in your head, okay, if you let it change how you live your life, uh, my way of thinking is that's my first step toward losing, right? If you let somebody else dictate how you live, how you sleep, how your mind is occupied,
And how you care for yourself.
and how you care for yourself,
And what you believe about yourself.
yeah,
Like if we weren't this strong of people, like you could really take to heart some of the shit that was spewed
by
early
sock by
on by
sock
sock
by sock
puppets
puppets
and
and
all the shit.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just like when you look at the source, like that's here's like a CBT way of doing it. Like, really look at the source of what that information is, and you know, uh, judge what the source is, and there you go. You don't really have to take it personally or take it to heart, or that they even know you, because that doesn't even know me.
no,
So, I don't really worry. And it's like, you know, it's like if other people believe him, then uh, whatever.
yeah,
You're worse than that person, because you're not only stupid and gullible. You can't evaluate these things either. So,
yep. Don, the sock puppets are just that. They are used as the use of those accounts is a use of those accounts is a coward.
yes.
Up to your grandma, go to the
Okay.
party anyway, head held high, eat their cheese, drink their wine, smiling calmly, and being pleasant. Nothing pisses off the bully types more.
Hell yeah.
Agreed. So, did did we change certain things? Yeah, we used to fly to 3 cons a year, but we were also getting comp for our a hotel room for that point. Now we fly to 1 con a year. However,
But there's other mitigating
yes, there's
factors in
yeah, I
those
know,
decisions.
but also we've decided if we're going to only go to 1 con a year that we're flying to, how are we going, Rich?
First class,
We're going to
baby.
go first class.
They're gonna feed us in there and give us our hot towel.
Yes. So I mean, you had I didn't adjust how we live on a daily basis. Didn't change that we the fun here. Here's the funny thing. We had just bought a new car right before we got served.
Was that same
Oh
season?
no, a year
No, that's a
before.
year
A
before.
year before. I
Okay.
just seen like the same season. No, you're right.
It feels like we've been in this shit forever. I mean,
It
honestly.
does. It does. But you've got
But it's a
to.
new day.
It does. We really, as I told our investment broker when we told him the law firm that we used, and the attorneys that were just spot on for us. Um, I said,
I'm sorry.
she's shaking my chair, which was then shaking the camera.
Oh.
So I was like, what? So now I lost my train of thought there. Oh, I told our investment broker that this is going to obviously cost us money, but maybe it's there to help somebody else down the line, because he was excited to find out of a law firm that was honest and had integrity.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I
Because
need this as a good referral.
yeah, for other clients. So maybe we took the hit so somebody else doesn't have to,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's something good comes out of everything, and I've certainly seen the community at the tavern and Gamers Health. My friends circle the wagons. I know that Bad Mike and Jim Kitchen are trying to talk about doing a little bit of a fundraiser for us to recoup some of the funds that
Thank you so
we've
much,
spent on
guys.
that. And when it happens, we will let you all know, obviously. And I'm not asking anybody to give that can't afford it, because
Right.
believe
If it's
me, we
within your
understand.
means, do it up.
And
If it's not,
if it's not,
just keep coming back.
yeah, and just share the word. But it's not that it's not yet. I don't know when
Because
they're gonna do it.
it's not even that big of a deal. Like what we've you can't get so crazy attached to money.
No.
Life is going to happen and there's going to be things that you have to pay for. Some of them, thank God it wasn't like a worse medical thing that we would have to pay for.
Oh, yeah, this
is, some other crazy shit. This was crazy enough, but it could have been so much worse. And so, I guess because I'm the type of person, like I came into the field of social work, knowing that I'd be taking a vow of poverty,
There you go.
So, all the extras, just gravy,
Yeah. So, to catch up on the comments.
Oh, sorry.
No. The user of these accounts attacked wives and kids as they found out early that me, you, Eric, and Tom, and others didn't give a crap about their opinion about us. Yeah, the attempt to manipulate. What's going to happen? And again, if you judge anybody in law enforcement that was an active cop, and I was an active cop, if you judge any of us as pushovers because we're gamers, you've got something. You've made a wrong choice, man. I may have. I am a kind gentleman. I have a kind face.
Yes,
but
don't take kindness for weakness, because that's
no.
You're delusional if you think that.
Anon Aderlin. I have a brother who has been convicted for beating his pregnant girlfriend. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Arrested for assaulting an officer when our mother's lawyer visited her, and has been actively destroying my life. So kind of hard not to take that to heart. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's rough.
Right. The whole issue of family violence and involvement in the criminal justice system, all of those things. You probably love both, like each person that's been involved, and there's positive thinking can't really negate some of those things, but just making sure that you're well through it, so that as they as things start to happen with the family, that
there's
you can be as best off.
There are no winners in domestic violence.
No.
And the number of people who lose is sometimes countless.
Yeah, everybody loses in that situation.
Not just the direct victims.
Yeah.
Over to Grandma. I'm not a Leo, but I've survived too much real nasty and dangerous people to be pushed around. Exactly.
Yes.
And the thing is, people. There are people out there that are going to read you the way they want you to be read. In my case, there are people out there that read me as, he's a pushover. Look at that. What kind of compliment? Look at he's got a few extra pounds. A lot of extra pounds. What kind of a compliment? Look at that. He's easy. He's selling off part of his game collection. He must be broke.
Unfortunately, we just don't have, as much room in our $1 million house.
Yeah. Well, we don't own the house,
right?
Which is and again, I cannot say for any surety, but Rach was the one that was initially going to be served, apparently, because that was the name that they heard at court. But my mother Lois.
Well, yeah, because that was the name in all the videos.
Yes, but all right. But my mother Lois got served, aka Rachel, because I've never.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Now, I mean, it was weird because the North Texas RPG Con that June before the serving, Vince Florio, in retrospect, was pumping me for a lot of information. We all know what happened with Vince.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was, Well, somebody believes that Rachel isn't your wife, that Natalie is. Oh no, that's my sister. Well, apparently he believes that Rachel isn't your wife, and that you didn't work in the NYPD, or you didn't. I was like, well,
You can believe
I
whatever
was
the
like,
fuck you
whatever.
wanted to believe.
But now, in retrospect, once I got served, I went, oh my mother effer was pumping me for information.
Mm-hmm.
TXG, welcome.
Slime.
Yeah, up to your grandma. You're not going to get pushed around on the net. No, neither am I. You know, and I'm not going to push people around either. I mean, listen, we talked about it before. The internet, people get, it's like beer muscles, right? Like the guy at the bar that, is on it like his, like, I don't know, 10th pint, slurring their words, and they start, I'm going to fight you all. And you just want to throw them
Yeah,
out.
I've never gotten into any kind of shit on the internet.
Yeah.
Ever.
So people on the internet, they're keyboard warriors, right? It's like, well, if they had to face somebody face to face, they would not do it. All right, but because they can hide behind the keyboard, the screen, alt account, or whatever, I'm not picking on anyone in particular. I'm just saying that this is a curse of the internet, and if you are going to be on social media, you are going to encounter people that fall within that purview. Anon Adderlin, the administrator of our father's estate, also breached the settlement agreement to bail him out.
Oh, okay.
I can actually see that happening,
Yeah.
sadly. Yeah, after your grandma, I get threatened and punched, threatened and insulted in person on the job, and occasionally someone throws punches at me. Well, there you go. I mean, listen, you can't be effective in law enforcement without the capacity for violence, and not violence without a cause. Violence in defense of persons, and that could include yourself. I've worked with cops that could not be violent or assertive or any of that stuff, and they quickly were designated house mouse, and put behind the desk to answer phones, because they were a danger to themselves, other cops, and the community. All right,
because of their fear,
their inability to be assertive, the ability to, if you can't be assertive, then you are a target on the street.
Yes.
Okay, I honestly, South Bronx, late '90s, drugs were still rampant, crack was out there. I worked in the 401 precinct, and I would I would drop my car off at the beginning of tour to get worked on a mile from the station house, and I would suit down at the end of the tour, and in civilian clothes, walk to get my car, and never an issue, because I walked like I belonged. I might have been as white as you see me now, but less gray. Um, I would I would get off duty and go into the local White Castle at 2 o'clock in the morning and be greeted as officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, people pretty much know who's who.
Yeah, they figure it out. TXG, thank you. Up to grandma. That's why net threats are silly to me. Yeah.
Yes.
What can they? It is
right, and
all
that's the whole thing.
bluster.
It's like you have to also look at what is the reality. Like this person isn't living in reality that like makes certain statements, or that wants to be threatening, and it's like, I think that was part of our surprise too. We were like, oh, they were just talking shit, and then it's like it becomes something more, and you're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like this or it's like that.
Yeah, Tom, keyboard warriors is nothing new. Back in the day, with the kid that would yell an insult and then duck onto the bus or into the school building. Yeah, or hide behind the mother's skirt. Right?
Yeah,
it happened.
Remember that analogy?
RPG grandma, I'm not a cop, but oddly end up training with them. I can see that.
Oh.
Tabletop tap room. Gutless cowards is what they are. And we have been repeatedly trolled by a gutless keyboard warrior, or more than one.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think
There's a special
I think
a
there's
special group.
I think there's a cadre of them actually.
What makes a cadre?
I don't know, just more than
Oh.
it's like saying a group, but it sounds more important. I want them
Oh.
to, I want them to feel important.
Oh, okay. Because they need that.
Yeah. I did love the colloquial use of the term "the rap" in the police report, though. Oh, Adeline. Well,
No.
you know, again, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
My least favorite jobs to respond to were family disputes, domestics, and in NYPD, the sergeant shows up to every domestic that's in their precinct. That's because your sector car shows up, but you got to show up to
ensure that everybody's rights and the full expression of the law is
done and
carried out. Yeah,
you got to make sure that nothing gets shit canned.
Right, that the perpetrator,
Yep,
whoever it is, really goes.
Yeah. Kim, have heard some amazing stories about the spectrum of assertiveness amongst police officers. Yeah, and listen, there's a fine line too between being assertive and being an asshole. Don't get me wrong. Okay, there are cops that are firm and assertive and make it known, and then there's just cops that come out with the mother f you, mother f this, mother. Made my job as a sergeant very interesting. Kim, we have one guy at my work who should be the encyclopedia photo for former police officer. It's funny. Before I became a cop, I looked more like a cop.
Oh, interesting.
I used to when I was in my college days. So this would be like late 80s, early 90s. I would walk through Washington Square Park, which was a outdoor drug market. And I'd walk through. And
Washington Square Park. Yeah, it was.
It was. Oh, man, it was.
Nobody would do anything to you, though.
No, I would walk through, and what you would hear would be, yo, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0.
Okay.
And I don't.
Because there was a lot of weed there. In
my
Washington Square Park
there was,
and probably is still now.
And back then,
but
it's
was not.
And
anything else.
And there was heroin going on back then too.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I remember seeing the Glassines.
Oh.
But it was funny. I thought it was hilarious that they all thought I was. Now, flash forward to the end of '96. I'm in the academy. They send us all to a command. Now, I got pneumonia for 3 weeks prior, so I'm only in this command for a week. So I get down to the command. It happens to be the 6th Precinct, which covers Washington Square Park. A few years earlier, I would walk in plain clothes, and they would scatter. They put me out in uniform with the gray shirt underneath the uniform jacket. They were pitching drugs right in front of me. They didn't care. Probably because they knew I was a rookie cop, and they figured. But I had more respect when I wasn't even a cop, which I just thought was very hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
With the Tower Games, 1 week man's ego, self-hatred, shame, and more being put on display is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just so folks know, Don is putting together a book about his side of the TSR saga. I will be doing a chapter, probably the prelude, because I came on beforehand. So, and I know Don's work. I'm looking forward to this. And
please have it for Kindle.
Have it for Kindle, Don.
Or Audible. You read the book yourself.
Yeah, he could.
Yes.
He's got a good voice for it.
Yes, I agree.
Or just get us a Reader's Digest large print of the book. Right, just like that doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, me too, but you don't have to go crazy with that. When I feel like,
It will be on Kindle.
The digital would be easier.
It will be on Kindle. Okay.
All right.
RPG grammar, and fine line between assertive and abusive bullying types.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And there are those that are attracted to careers like law enforcement.
For the wrong reason.
For the wrong reasons. It's a power trip.
Mm-hmm.
TXG, I've been threatened with my job on and off for the last 20 years by those in power.
Mm-hmm.
It got so bad that I would shake and have chest pains while doing mundane things related to my job.
Oh.
I had that at my prior occupation when I worked at a department store. My department manager was one of my best friends, one of my gaming buddies.
So
ex-girlfriends.
That gets to be toward harassment, right? Like
nowadays, back then, Rach,
creating a hostile work environment.
Early 90s, nobody gave a fuck. No, but I got to the point.
Well, I guess it was still being established fully. What?
Yeah. I would call out sick with no sick days and just take the hit. TXG, my doctor prescribed anti-anxiety medicine due to the stress.
Sure.
But the Adon, it will be on Kindle. So that's awesome news. Awesome news. So, but I think attitude, your own attitude. If you are confident in yourself, and by the way, I was confident in this lawsuit. I knew in the end we were going to be vindicated. We were going to be victorious because I happen to understand the law. I happen to understand, as Frank Metzner put it to me, that Frank, early on probably back in 2016, at my first GaryCon, Frank was talking with me, and it was about Ken Whitman. And Frank went up to me and we were talking, and he goes, my wife worries about you. And I went, your wife worries about me? He goes, yes. About what? He goes, your coverage of Ken Whitman. This was just on the blog side, folks. It's not. I wasn't doing videos. I didn't have my own podcast. I go, what about? Well, she's afraid that you're going to cross the line.
Mm-hmm.
I go, well, what do you think? He goes, I see a cop that knows where the line is and will push their toe right up against it and then take the nose and kind of do this, but you don't cross it because you know where that line is. And I know where that line is. So you've got to, listen, can you defend yourself totally against somebody who will abuse the system? No. But there's a reason why somebody spent half a year or so trying to find an attorney that would take the litigation
and that's
against
why he
them.
had to go 3 or 4 counties
north and find someone who specializes in criminal cases, defending known terrorists on the public dime as a public defender for
federal public defender.
Yeah. And doesn't specialize in civil cases. So, I mean, I did the opposition research.
Yeah.
And I read some of opposing's rulings, cases that they participated in, including their own divorce, and it wasn't impressive. Now, they might be an excellent criminal defense attorney. They certainly may be. But I don't believe that civil cases are their specialty. Catching up here. TXG, I'm eligible for retirement in August. I'm getting the fuck out while the getting is good.
Stuff.
You know what? Retirement is there's a saying on my job, and not everybody says it, but enough people say it. Retirement is parole. Okay?
Parole?
Retirement.
Community supervision?
Well, retirement is parole because when you are, in my case, a cop, you are theoretically, you're on duty 8 hours a day, 8.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, but you are a cop 24/7. And those responsibilities end. Like you're no longer under direct supervision, Rage. You're no longer having to take actions while you're off duty. I mean,
So what does it just mean? You have to go in and put your hand in the thing?
Rage, even
I'm
cops,
trying to understand the parole bit.
cops don't understand parole, Rage. We're not involved in that process.
Oh, okay.
We don't understand that process.
Okay, so you don't have to go see your PO anymore, but you just have to do the hand scanner now because you've come a long way.
We don't understand it.
Oh.
Okay. The closest I came to understanding, I dated a parole officer for one date, and I was like, she's a nut job.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. I arrest these people, but it sounds like she lives with them. No, thank you.
Oh yeah, she has to go
do home visits.
Do home visits and make sure with the sex offenders, make sure they're in their bed after their curfew or whatever. They can't not do that.
After Grandma, my job started with weekly staff meetings telling us we suck, we bad, we all getting fired.
Oh.
It's better now, but I feel you, THX. Thankfully, things got better, but it was wild and off the hook for years.
Oh.
TXG, I deal with phone systems and 911 specifically. Considering it's life and death, I constantly worry. Also about being sued. I'm planning on going back to electronics repair after retirement.
Very cool.
God bless. Yeah, probably for the best. Your grandma's at 20 years this year.
Congratulations.
Nice. That is awesome. Again, I'm glad that I would never have, in retrospect, I could not have found a better career than law enforcement. And big departments and small departments are very different in how they are run and the opportunities they present. You don't get any bigger than NYPD. So it was the right place for me. It really was. I got some great training. I got street narcotics enforcement training. I got plain clothes training. I got urban survival training. They don't do that one anymore. Just saying.
I think they probably do that on an ad hoc basis, but probably not anymore.
Yeah.
It's probably ad hoc when you were there.
Yeah.
Let's just do this, because we can right quick and not publicize it.
Yeah. Or urban survival was a very intense course. Of course, I also got supervisory training. I got investigative training. So I got surveillance training. So I got a lot of great. And domestic sex crimes and child abuse training. Most disturbing training I've ever taken. Probably the best on that was done at NYU. So TXG, I'm getting a pin at the end of the week.
Oh.
There you go. I when I retired, I could have put on my my fourth hash mark for seniority. I was just like, screw that. I don't plan on putting that jacket on with running time.
Aww.
I'm gonna be gone and out. Anon, Adeline should put that all in an OSR book. Oh my God, this karaoke is not ending.
No, not until the wee hours of the morning.
Thank God we sleep on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, folks, I can't thank you all enough. It's humbling.
Yeah.
It really is humbling. It's a lot easier, by the way, to get through these trialing.
That's another
times.
thing, the communities you belong to.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are an island, then you're going to be more of an island if somebody takes legal action against you. You're going to feel very alone.
Letting people support you.
Yeah. the support, emotional, mental, just the friendship, the inquiries. How's it going? How are you and Rach holding up? How are you and your mother holding up? Oh my God! And you got to keep a sense of humor about this. And actually, before we end this, you got to keep a sense of humor about it. I was telling Rach that yes, we spent over six figures on this, but in a way, the rewards have been priceless because I have not been as entertained by written material. This is better than anything that Terry Pratchett ever wrote. If you read some of the filings from opposing, oh my God, the justification for turning Lois Stina into Rachel Stina without serving Rachel was classic. But not only that, and I will publicly say this because I've said this in private, but I think it deserves being said in public. The bond that this bullshit has created between Don Zamora, Tom Veralt, and myself and our spouses is something that you could not ever expect or ask for. And it is a stronger bond than it's like the bond that forms in I don't know in war, working in a house in a busy precinct, and you're always protecting each other's back.
Yeah.
That was the 4-2 and the 4-1 when I worked out in the South Bronx. That were very busy houses initially, and you have to rely on people and blindly put your safety, whether that's whatever safety, emotional, physical, monetary, into the hands of others. I could not have asked for better friends and better people to be in my inner circle. And if the cost is the cost that I went through, Rachel and I went through for the last year and a half, it's probably the best investment of that money that I could have asked for. And I'm getting overclamped. My eyes are getting a little watery. But seriously, the attempts to tear us apart just strengthened our bonds. And I thank you, all of you. It is amazing, and you all are amazing.
Yes.
And I, oh my God, what's that? You hear the song, Rich?
I do.
I start.
I can read your mind.
Oh my God. Filipino karaoke is going to be the death of me. TXG, it's into Pat.
I can't get the key right.
I know we can't. No, sadly, as the case progressed, the clarity with how New York state law was for slap cases and the federal law precedent was set that it would not apply. Yes, Don. Amen. Tammy. Yes. Cal, the Grinch did that too. My heart's gotten sweet. Oh wait, that's a justified failure. I'm joking. Tom, love you guys. Anon, Adeline, humor is not difficult to find. At least opposing counsel addressed me as Mrs. Minor and couldn't even get the home address right on their objections. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, you got to find it. You got to take it where you can. You really do. Up to your grandma. Stay awesome. Anon, hopefully YouTube doesn't copy strike you for the background music. If it does, listen, here's another secret. Most of my live streams get demonetized. They do. Why? Because...
Is it the curse words or is it...
I don't think it's the curse words. I just think that live streams scare YouTube.
I get it.
So they generally don't demand, and I love doing live streams. But I always need somebody with me. I always need a co-host, whether it's right, because I need somebody who can talk while I'm catching up on comments, or if I really fall behind. AI police strike again. Man, maybe, Grandma.
Looking at you, I can read your mind.
All right. Oh, I can't sing for shit, and I sing better than the drunken fool whose yard is Catty Corner Towers. Oh my god! Actually, what I've done in the past is I put on the heavy metal. I put on Iron Maiden. Like I'll blast. If you're gonna die, die with your boots on. If you're gonna try it. Well, just stick around. Gonna cry. Just move along. Because you're gonna die. You're gonna die. And then they go, holy fuck. Because I think that's more intimidating than country. We have a block rocker.
Yeah, we do.
But I gotta turn the lights off, so I'm not quite sure where it's coming from when I do that and I put it in the window. Just saying. All right, folks. Thank you all. I'll have some random video up tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what yet. Your support has been priceless.
Thank you so much for all of your support.
Yes.
In all of our trials, our legals and our medicals.
Kim, making this counter complaint, I feel I need to buy so many journalists and litigants a drink. God bless you. With the Tower Games, good night all. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. TXG, adios. God bless everyone. Be good.
Take good care.
Yes, Jen. We're the best. We'll see you at North Texas, Jen.
Yay!
And then you can tell us that to my face. You are the best.
Yes.
All right, folks. Laters.